What's up YouTube, darkworldMOFO here with a video on body language when you're dueling against your opponent in the match. For whether it's a locals match, not a big deal, or a huge event like a YCS at the top tables. Now, I read an article on body language. I think it was on Alter Reality Games Articles website. It was either written by Patrick Hogan or Fraser Smith, but they made a lot of good points, and I wanted to share some of those points that to whoever hasn't read that article. And yeah, I wear glasses. I don't like these fucking glasses. I look like a retard, but thought I'd keep them on for this video. But anyway, first off, it's so important to know people's body language when dueling. Reading them is one of the most important techniques in the game. Knowing what they're doing is the key to winning, and you can tell so much by a player by watching his actions during the duel. For instance, when you're in a tough spot and they have a monster on the field and they're poking you and you kind of have no hand and you're just hoping for a back row, and let's say you have a mirror force set and they're kind of scared to attack you, or any monster removal, deprison, compulsory evacuation device, anything you want, but they're kind of hesitant to attack. And if you want to force them to attack to get rid of their monsters in case they overextended, this is what you do. When you say go ahead and they don't do anything and they're pondering for a second, you say, are you going to attack? And then you kind of reach over to your calculator or your pen and pad and act like you're gonna write down the points that you're gonna lose. So they're like, all right, he doesn't have anything, he's just gonna write down his points. And then when he says attack, then you go back to your card set and you flip over whatever you have. It pisses people off, but it works. It makes you force their attack and they run into whatever the fuck you have, and it can change the whole game state of the game. Or if you have bluff set, you say go ahead. You just hold your back row up looking at it, ready to drop it for their attack, and they're like, uh-oh, he has something he's ready to drop, so they're not going to attack. So you kind of like force them to be more hesitant so you get another turn to live. And then maybe the next turn you draw something and you win the game. I mean, there's just so many techniques. And also, when your opponent's in the tough spot and you have better field advantage, better hand advantage, another really good technique is to watch them when they draw. Right when they draw and they look at the card, if they're looking at it for a second, then you know that they're thinking if they can even do anything with it. And if they're just sitting there shuffling their cards and they can't really do anything, most of the time it's usually a bluff that they set and then they say go. And they're going to try to psych you out because they set the bluff, so you're like, uh-oh, what is that? But if they took a long time to set it, 90% of the time it's going to be a bluff. Because if it wasn't, they would look at it, set it, and then be like, alright, cool, I got something, I can save myself, I don't have to think about it. But if they're thinking about it, they're like, damn, maybe this isn't going to work. So then you then have more advantage saying, oh, he might not have something very good in his back row, so I'm not too afraid to attack. So then you can get your attack and they have bluffs, and then you potentially win the game. Also, the not very good players like to make sad faces, or they like to talk under their breath to themselves if they have a bad hand. When you see their starting hand and they're looking at it, and if they shake their head the slightest, or they say, oh my god, like, oh my god, or they just whisper it, or they're like, what the fuck, and they put their hand to this, and they're just like looking at their cards like what to do, then you automatically know. But the best thing to do when your first hand is just to have a straight face, or look like you have something good if you have to bluff it. But if you have something good, you know what? Hide it, so they're like, uh-oh, he doesn't have anything, so you can fucking destroy him. Or if you don't have anything good, act like you do. Be like, oh, alright, sweet. Or just anything. But like some real good players can read everything you do, so you have to be very careful. And another thing to do, my last tip I'm going to show you guys, has to do with setting back row. People love to blind MST, and it sucks when you get your the card hit that you don't want to get hit, especially when you have other bluffs that you'd rather have them MST than what you want to save for later, such as if you have like a Solemn Warning set and a Pot of Avarice that isn't live set or something like that. You're like, alright, I really hope you Pot of Avarice, so that MST is the Pot of Avarice. So you know what you do? People can read. Most people set their good cards where they set them all the time, whether it's in the middle, closest to your deck, or farthest away from your deck, no matter what. But the best thing, in my opinion, and that I've also read, is randomly putting down your back rows, so it's random to you where they are and it's random to them where they are, because then they have a 0% chance that they can read where your cards are. So before you set your cards, You shuffle them face down so you can't see them, then set them one at a time so you have no idea what to do. And you don't look at them until you have to activate one of them that you know you have set. But just make sure you don't know where they are when you set them the turn, so that they don't. Because if they can read your previous moves, and they know where you set your trump cards, then they'll MST that same exact spot every single time. But if you switch it around, and even if you don't even know where it is, then they don't know where it is. They can't read you because it's completely random. They're like, alright, this is a completely blind MST. But if they can read you the slightest bit, they'll hit the right card, I guarantee you. Especially good players. And also good players and players who are trying to get tips. Also look out for where they set their back row. A lot of the times, for some reason, people set their good cards in the middle. I don't do that. I'm not going to tell you where you got... Well, I'm not going to tell you where I set my cards in case I ever play one of you guys. But I usually do it random, too. It really helps because it's just random. They're like, alright, you don't have to look at them until you do. And then when you look at them, don't make any facial expressions. Try not to look over. Try to look at them all at the same time. Let's drop them face back, right back down. And when they MST hit, you don't know what they're going to hit. If they hit the right card, then they got lucky. If they didn't, then you got lucky. It's all luck with that blind MSTing shit. But most of the time they can read you and they know where they set your cards. So just make sure you guys do that. darkworldMOFO out. Like again, I'll be at that Butler PA regionals. I gotta get my fucking invite. Running Dark Worlds. My deck list is there that I'm gonna run. I changed around my side deck a little bit. I'll probably show you guys that a couple days from now. Probably tomorrow. Maybe even tonight if I get bored. But yeah, that's it. Guess that's it. Let me know what you guys think about my tips, if they helped you, or if you have any tips you could show me. I'd love to hear. I guess that's it. darkworldMOFO out.